Welcome to the Women in Leadership Body, Mind, Soul, and Business podcast. I'm Heather.
And I'm Amanda. Together, we are working to connect women in leadership and business to build relationships, empower each other, improving the health and wellness of the community, body, mind, and soul, sharing the heart and soul of who we are and what we do.
Today's guest started her business to empower women, understanding we all have our own inner strength to be successful. Everyone on her team owns their own business and works as subcontractors. She's a mom who started a business with her daughter and son last year, showing them they can also follow their dreams. Currently, she is blooming in her coaching business as well as getting trained to be an ICF coach. Please welcome to the table the incredible Brittany Ashley.
Thanks, everyone. I'm so excited to be here today.
We're so excited to have you. Could you tell us a little bit about you and what you do and how you kind of got here?
Yes, yeah. So it's been a journey, to say the least. I started schooling a long time ago and have my BBA in marketing communications. And usually the golden rule in life, they always say, go get your degree and then go in the corporate world or whichever, get your 9 to 5. And so I followed suit and I worked in a tech industry for about 4.5 years. And I had my daughter around that time and left. I'm based in Canada, Victoria, BC, I should mention. We have a year maternity leave. So in that, when I was off, I kind of was like, I just can't go back into that work setting. It doesn't feel right. I like to joke that I'm a bit of a hippie because after having my daughter, I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I really thought originally I wanted to be in the event planning business. And so I ventured in that and started my virtual assisting business, thinking that would just be money on the side kind of thing. The more I started learning more about the virtual assistant side of things, my passion just kind of grew over there, which I'm a very visionary person. So if you tell me your vision and your dreams, like I'm right there with you. Like I get it. I get your dreams kind of person. And anyways, from that, starting the virtual assistant business, I envisioned the business more of a team of ladies building underneath one umbrella. So that means if you're a business owner, you can come to Creative Dynamics and you can have one virtual assistant, but then you have a team behind you as well. If that VA had to take time off, somebody else can step in, or if that virtual assistant online business manager isn't specialized in SEO or copywriting, we have a team that we can pull from to assist. So it's just kind of like a full service done for you business. And really my passion was to really bring in women who were moms. I'm a mom. It's really hard to find those flexible jobs. Everyone says that they're flexible, but then when you get there and sign that contract, you find out other ways that they really aren't flexible. So I was just really passionate to build a business that is flexible, listen to everybody what they want to do and execute, really hone in on women's strengths than the weaknesses. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how Creative Dynamics has emerged. It's about 3 years now. I started with my daughter and built the business even further with my son last year, a newborn. That was an interesting journey in itself, say the least. And then this year, because I like to do all the things, is I'm taking my coaching courses to be a certified ICF coach. And I finally had my aha moment of what I really wanted to do in my coaching business, because you can be a life coach, you can do all the things. And my 4 principal pillars to women in business and the online space is empowerment and leadership, mm-hmm. growth and momentum.
Boom.
My 4 pillars are ladies on in the team at Creative Dynamics. So I'm just putting that even more into practice in the coaching side of things. And my internet connection says unstable.
You've been fine.
If I disappear, I'll come back.
No worries.
Okay. But yeah, so I'm about 10 weeks in, no, 12 weeks into the course. It's an intensive course to be certified. But I've learned so much about myself, and also too, it's been such a fun journey just to kind of see the direction of where I really want to go with the coaching practice, because originally I wanted to do something else, and now it's kind of totally pivoted a bit, but it's still in line with everything I wanted to do with creative dynamics, but it's just one step further that I can do.
That's so cool. Could you tell us your 4 pillars again?
Yeah. So it's empowerment, leadership, growth, and momentum.
Oh,
Like that.
boom.
So
Yeah.
I truly believe empowerment, you need to be empowered to be a leader. And
Yeah.
it's all about stepping into your inner empowerment of who you are and transferring that into your own leadership of running your own business, being CEOs of your own business. And then once you kind of, because let's be honest, we all have limiting beliefs, and we all kind of get stuck sometimes in that rut. And it's just
Oh my
kind of
goodness.
mind over matter, right? Like I've had to push myself so much to, like, I get them all the time. Like this week has been like, ugh, a week of like, I don't want to do any more proposals. Like, why am I doing this kind of situation? Like everyone has a limiting belief. I actually was reading an article that 70% of us, specifically women, really struggle with limiting beliefs. And it's just a frame of mind to kind of, instead of the, I can't do this, I can do this. Just switching it and trying to reframe your mind frame to how you can actually achieve those goals.
I know that I have faced some limiting beliefs. How about you, Amanda? Like in this process, definitely.
God.
What if we all talked about a little bit? Because the theme for the week is clinging to the past suffering, and I think that that's like perfect. Like limiting beliefs. Like why don't we talk? Like, do we mind sharing a limiting belief that we've had that we've worked through?
Yeah, I think it's like,
it can be really personal. So I know that's why I said, do you mind? Okay. Not pressuring anyone here.
I think
I'm like, God, I gotta pick one.
Let's let Brittany talk.
I
Right.
think everyone can maybe relate to this, of just that you're not good enough.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you tell yourself that you are, and moving past that, and like really once you move past that, the sky's the limit, and you get out of the self-doubt a bit. Like obviously that's sometimes it comes up again, like by all means, like I do that, but I'm the kind of person lately of like, if you tell, or I've always been like this, if you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to show you that I can do it 200 times more better.
Right.
It's my drive, and that's I think my drive and my passion with creative dynamics and my coaching business, because I hope to empower other people in that who struggle a bit. And that's why that being a coach is so important to me, because originally it's kind of like a long factor of finally realizing like that's what I should be doing. But also too, like the coaching side of the business too is all about how to build your business in the online space. So perhaps in our coaching session, you're struggling to on marketing or social media management or all the things. At least I can come in and guide you as well. And I'm finding too, I'm coaching quite a few different people right now, and social media is such a big one for a lot of people. A lot of people are, a lot of limiting beliefs behind that, because they feel like they are not good enough to show up and show their face on social media. So how can we break down those barriers? And sometimes it is a past thing, like you mentioned, that kind of gets you stuck in the rut. But if we chat and try to figure out what's holding you back, then like really you can move mountains. That's why the momentum piece is for my goals, is I want to get to that momentum state as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Amanda, do you want to go ahead and share a limiting belief that you've had to
Yeah,
face?
I just think, and I know I'm not alone in this, but I can think of several instances, like even when I was a kid, whether I was a teacher or a classmate, or maybe even my parents unknowingly had said something, because my parents were great growing up, don't get me wrong, but I mean, we're parents, right? We all screw up. Like we all say things that you're like, oh, well, that's not exactly how that was supposed to be taken, but that's how the kids take it, right? But I remember being told certain things, or well, you can't do that, or no one needs to be doing this or that or the other thing. And I'm like, so then that gets stuck in your head that you can't do it, or you shouldn't do it, or in that head there's things we shouldn't do, right? But I remember like just the silliest thing. Like I remember when I first got my driver's license, and I told my dad, I said, I want to buy this truck from this girl. And it was a classmate, and it was a big 1-ton lifted Chevy, like 1980s model. I thought it was so cool. And of course, it was loud and obnoxious. I grew up in Montana. And he's like, no, no way. That thing is way too big. You will never be able to drive a vehicle that big. There's no reason. I believe what he meant was, being a new driver, that was a little big for me to start with. I believe that's what he meant. Then it's not how 16-year-old Amanda took it. 16-year-old Amanda took it as, no, oh yeah, okay, well, how about I just go find the biggest next car I can find?
No wonder why you like big trucks now.
Right? Yeah. And now I drive a full-size Suburban, like, but and it was a stick shift, and I didn't know how to drive a manual. And that was the other thing that he had said was, you don't even know how to drive a manual. You can't even drive a manual. Well, I didn't know how. That didn't mean I wasn't willing to learn, right? But I truly didn't know how. And so that piece has stuck with me through adulthood. To this day, I am scared to death of getting behind the wheel of a stick shift. I drove our little Blazer like 10 miles maybe, and every red light I hit, I panicked. And I told my husband, get out and tell the people behind us to back up, because happened. And of course, where we live, we have topography, and at some of the lights, you're on a hill and you're going up the hill, and so you roll back, right? And just that silly little thing. Like, I'm 35, I'm almost 36 years old, and if there's a serious emergency and I have to get somebody to a hospital, confidently I can get there. Probably gonna have about 15 panic attacks on the way, but damn it, we'll get there. Right? But I mean, that's such a silly thing, but that was something I was told at like 15, 16 years old, and things stick with you, whether how silly they are or how important they were. I think regardless, everybody has some sort of something. Yeah.
And I think coming from the not good enough part is not just everyone goes through it. I've been through it at a young age. So I struggle with dyslexia. So I think that's where, like, why I'm such a visionary person.
Right.
A lot of people who have dyslexia are very visionary people. So I think that empowerment piece is so important to me, because I've always been told you're not good enough, or in school, like for so many people, like to have self-doubt on you. So being that person of like, screw you kind of situation, like I'm gonna kill it. And because I remember I was also told when I was graduating from my first diploma, oh, you can go work at Tim Hortons. And it's like,
thanks.
No,
that's
thanks.
totally really what I wanted to do after I got a degree. Right. Thanks so much.
I will come find you when I make movements in the world and see what you're doing with your life, kind of.
Absolutely.
Isn't that where Isn't that where the saying like from the South, oh, bless your heart?
Oh, bless your heart.
Yeah.
Let me show you.
Yeah.
I really think that with the I'm not enough like piece, I have various levels of that come up for me. And lately I've written out that I surrender to I am already enough.
Mm.
So I'm just taking a minute every time I see that to remember that I'm already enough. Like I don't have to do more to show up in this space and be who I am. You all love me anyways. Like I gotta get out of my own
Right.
head. And I think the biggest limiting belief for myself was I had been in a horrible car accident when I was young, and I had a brain injury. I went through the window of a 15-passenger van. And landed on the cement, and I had a horrible brain injury, and I didn't know it for the longest time, like because you miss pieces of your life when that happens. And I was in 5th grade and I didn't know how to read because of this. And my parenting wasn't the best at the time of my parenting of myself, apparently. My parent was not really a parent. And I went and lived with my grandma, and my grandma realized, of course, that I couldn't read. And then she spent the time with me, making me dedicate the time and making me learn. So I really learned that hard work and learning, and I always felt like I had to catch up, like I was always behind, and I carried that through into my adulthood, and until very, very recently. And then I realized that I have an associate's in business, I have certificates, I've been a licensed insurance agent, like all of these things are great, but I never felt like I owned them because I felt like I was still catching up to people. And so realizing in that surrendering to I'm already there, I'm already enough, I already have all of these things, I no longer have to catch up with the world is, a huge step for me. It's been a big, big difference. That's opened the entire world to me, changing that core.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
excited. Yeah. So Brittany, what does it look like if somebody was to come work with you? What would that look like?
There's two different on the coaching side or creative dynamics. They're all going to be underneath called creative dynamics. But which side, like the
So you work with business owners and help them become more successful.
yes.
And so, and you do now, you're doing that in even more ways than when we originally talked, right? Like we've been trying to get
Full-rounded.
Yeah, that's great.
So from on the like, if you're wanting to work with when you come in and speak with me about your business and you're trying to get your business off the ground, I'm combining that with my coaching, and it's actually I've been finding it actually pretty empowering just if myself the questions that I'm bringing forward, because then we can see if somebody's truly stuck somewhere, because it could be a limiting belief of something, and then we kind of peel back more of the onion and kind of get them to the solution. So that's the part of the coaching. And if they're actually totally stuck and they don't know how to get like how to write good copy, don't really know the part of like putting a website together, I can still assist them with that, because I built my whole website. I would get Felicia to come in to do the copywriting. If I've done it, throwing it over to her.
Yeah. You're like, I could do it, but I don't really want to. That's awesome.
And that's the part that I think my journey too is figuring out what I do love to do and what I'm moving over to the team so they can actually implement as well, because majority of them really truly love doing SEO, because we have Ashley on the team that loves to implement and study keywords. I know it at a high level, but that doesn't give me joy.
Right.
So when I'm doing the coaching side of it, it's kind of nice because it's coaching, yes, to how to build your business. Also, it could also be on personal, because that's a thing that we can see in business that sometimes personal goes into business, business and personal. So sometimes our conversation,
Especially as women, I
like,
think in
it's more-
business,
Yeah.
it just bleeds over. Like
Yeah.
we are not, we as women don't tend to just leave it at the door. Like we're working on solutions and problems in our mind, and we, you know, we have all these things happening. We may only put on one hat at a time to come forward into society, but we still have a lot going on up in our head. So you're right. Like it could be, you know, that you're worried about your kid doing something and it's distracting you from your work and you can't, you know, piece it all together. So
Yeah.
I think that's great. We dropped all of your links into the description and the comments, so they're available for everyone if they want to reach out to you. I would appreciate. I think that's a great idea. You're so calming to talk to. Like I feel like you just make us slow down, which is like half of the world right now. Because just like everybody's a buzz and wants to keep going, and we're all doing all these things, and you just like
Yeah,
calm.
thank you. I was told that my coaching sessions have a lot of grace to them. I don't really know what that means, but I guess it's more or less I'm really good at active listening, and I just want you to speak your mind than just give you full advice right away kind of
I,
situation.
I love that. Grace is something we talk about having for and holding a space where it's safe to talk about something, because it could be really scary. So that's holding that space and that grace and kindness and coming from a peaceful spot when you're creating that space for opening up. It's really beautiful. That's a good.
Well, and it's important too for people, especially business owners, because like you said, Heather, we have all these hats, right? We're moms, we're wives, we're partners, we're besties, we're business women, we're all the things. And when you find somebody that you know is listening, they're not just hearing you, but they're listening to you. I think that's huge.
Mm-hmm. I hired actually a business, she calls herself more of a mentor, business mentor, for people to get like high ticket sales, to get to the next level, which is great. Like I love what she does. But the thing is, I felt like I was not heard.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
So because I did have, like I was creating a group called the Ambitious Moms Club, but I have a passion to help so many women than just moms, because I have experience in so many different areas of my past life that I really want to like educate people on, specifically on dyslexia. Doesn't mean that you are not capable. We just need to figure out a way to execute. Everyone learns differently. I didn't know how to read or write till really grade 12 kind of situation. It was really hard. Math was so hard for me. But like I was in high school math and they almost wanted to pull me out, like the calculus math. And I was like, no, I'll do it. But I just need extra support because I want to learn it differently. So I've been very lucky with having a lot of supportive network around me as I was going through these different scenarios. So that's what I really want to encompass too in my coaching as well. Because sometimes you can go to a coach and they're not fully listening because they just want to get you to maybe that high ticket sales offer, which is good.
Well, I think that too is the difference between mentoring and coaching. So mentor is showing you this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. You need to keep doing these things. They're not listening to you. They're telling you what you need to be doing, as opposed to a coach who is listening to you and helping you find your own inner voice, you know, and bringing out so that you can feel the success, right? There's a difference there, right?
So
You're right.
with me, I tell everyone like, okay, today, right now we're in the coaching setting. I just announce it because if you start working with me, I don't want them to know that mentoring is coaching. I really want them to experience the full coaching session. And then when I see that they're just spinning their wheels in marketing and they just don't understand what to do, they're just stuck, then I announce, I'm like, okay, now I'm switching and I'm going into the mentoring hat. For marketing purposes, I think really what we should be doing here is X, Y, and Z.
I love that. That's great.
yeah, so when I hired this particular person, she was just telling me that I need to do all these things at the Ambitious Moms Club. And I was just like, it's not resonating with me. Like, why is this not like, I was like, I don't like being told what to do. And she's like, you hired her to tell you what to do. I was like,
Dang
this
it.
is very true. Good point. Good point.
You hired her to tell you what to do, but you're like, no, still not gonna do it. I love it. And then you were able to forge your own way.
Exactly. And like, obviously that was like a big price to pay to get her to come in and assess the business. But at the end of the day, I walked away with so much more because it helped me realize like, no, I don't want to do that. This is what I want to do. And then that's where I came up with my 4 like guiding principles as well: empowerment, leadership, growth, and momentum. So it was a journey for sure, but yeah, so I'm so, and seeing the light in people too when I'm coaching them, and it's because they already knew the solution, but they're just struggling because they have, let's be honest, when you're moms too, you have so many things going on. It's hard to be creative and think about those to actually articulate them. So having a sounding board, because we're just really partnering with you along the way. So, and that's usually, I'm like your cheerleader from day one, even when you come to work at our higher career dynamics to help you execute like SEO, copywriting, all the things. I get so attached to business owners because I'm like, ooh, where are you now? Like, I love the journey to see everybody grow.
That's like my favorite part, is watching everyone around me grow. It's been such an amazing journey watching everyone just do better, be better, show up better, feel better. Like that is so amazing. Brittany, I really, really want to thank you for joining us today. Amanda, I also want to thank you for joining us today.
Anytime.
Even if we message you at 1:00 in the morning. Yes.
Hey, how's that?
Do you mind me asking before we jump off, one acknowledgement that you can give yourself for today?
What you're asking us, what is one acknowledgement we can
You can
give
give
ourselves
yourself.
for today?
Mhm.
That's a good one. I feel like I need to acknowledge more of myself, that I don't have to do it all by myself.
Mm.
Even if the kids half-ass it, they still did half.
It's a hard piece to let go of, I have to say, as a mom, like how the
Yeah.
dishwasher's loaded. I totally see where my grandma was freaking out at me. Like, that's not how you load the dishwasher. Now I'm like, is there dishes in it? Did you run it? Cool. Can you rerun it so we can get the rest in there?
Yeah.
I think for myself, I should acknowledge that my morning routine habits have really progressed and are propelling me forward. And I really enjoy that. Like, I never thought that making my bed in the morning would like be such a catalyst, but it really has brought such joy in the evening when I come home. And I really appreciate that. So I really like my morning routine, resetting my space in the morning and getting everything nice for when I come home. I didn't know that I would love that so much.
Love that. Thank you for sharing both. And I just want to acknowledge you both that putting this all together and building a safe space for women to come together and learn all things of their different business and talking on different aspects of things. So I appreciate you both.
Oh, thank you.
I'll take the thank you for Charlie. Charlie would say say thank you for sure.
Absolutely. And she will. She'll be watching. She might be watching. You never know right now. I want to say thank you to our audience for tuning in today. Be sure to go to the website. Oh my goodness, you guys, I almost forgot. It's important as entrepreneurs that we're giving back in our community, because as we move into a more entrepreneurship world, big corporates aren't going to be the ones responsible for giving in our communities. So we need to take that in as a heart. And our quarter, cause of the quarter, our quarter, the cause of the quarter this quarter is the Boogie Bin. And we did this in honor of the Dogs Up podcast, because this is for animals in our community. The Boogie Bin collects new and used pet supplies for small local resources or rescues. Sorry, I read that. I'm like, what? Small local rescues via a network of donation collection bins located in businesses throughout Western Washington. They collect, deliver, and repeat. And every month they collect for a different organization. And they make sure that all the things donated get to an organization that can use them. So if you donate a cat thing during a dog donation month, it's still going to go to the cat people that can use it. So don't be afraid to donate. And I'm excited later this quarter, we'll have Jill with the Boogie Bin on the podcast. But in the meantime, all our contact information is below. And if you're inspired to maybe start something like this in your local area, she'd be happy to share information. So that's super duper exciting. I really am excited about this. So again, one more time, I'm going to say thank you all for joining us today. And we are looking forward to continuing to connect and build more relationships with more community leaders. And we look forward to you all joining our table. Namaste.
Namaste.